Module 5 focused on formative assessments. So since I couldn't reverse my screen to show you me and it, then now I'm just going to show you some of the formative assessments that I use. This is my example journal that I have, and they're responsible for keeping a table of contents, and I have it marked where we are because we took a test on this today. So they are responsible for keeping up with different illustrations that might help them, vocabulary. We have review, let's see, that's more vocabulary. Here we go. Review questions that will focus on some of the things that will be on the test. And then we do labs, and I'll show you some of what actually is in the labs. But that is my example journal that I have made. This is one that my student made that I've been working with. So he has his table of contents, and then we flip through his table of contents, and we'll see that he has some of his notes that I've given, some of his pictures on topography, his vocabulary, his sphere task cards that we did, more vocabulary, his lesson reviews, and then we have labs. That is another example of formative assessments. So I took a convection. We did a convection experiment. They had to draw out the convection, give some of their details of what they noticed. We also did a rock cycle lab using Starburst, and they had to fill in the blanks after we did the lab, show part of what they did and what that meant to them. And then actually yesterday we did an identifying a rock, different rocks, and so each of the rocks had a letter on them. They had to go through the processes that are on the back of this paper, show me which steps they took and what rock they ended up classifying this as. And all of these things are in here, so I can take a journal grade overall for this. I will take some lab grades, so they get the points for not just being in the lab, but for keeping up with the paper, having the paper where it's supposed to go. That's part of your points. And when they lose the paper, then they've literally lost half of their grade. But that's part of the formative assessment, just because I'm also trying to teach organizational skills and note-taking, responsibility, and keeping up with the things they need to keep up with. Then the difference between this and what we have here is my more summative kind of test. And this is our actual test questions that some are multiple choice, some are true false, some are short answer, and all of them were things that could be found in the journal. And I allow them to use their journal because I feel like they've spent the time getting it all together, that they might as well be allowed to use it. And sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't because they choose not to use it. But it shows me, this shows me how well they can gather the information and if they're keeping up with me currently. This shows me, are they retaining how to use it, because it's not worded the same way that it is here. So I change up the wording a little bit, but if they can apply it, then they can answer the questions here. But if they're just looking for the downright, the outer layer of the earth is the crust, they're not going to find that. They had to tell me which one of these layers was made of iron and is solid, because both of these have iron in them, but this is the only one that's solid. So anyway, they had to be able to apply some of the knowledge. So that is what I did for my formative assessments.